So one of the toughest decisions that you can be faced with in business is when to quit. When is it time to either quit one business and start another? Or when is it time to just quit business altogether? Because a lot of people online, and myself included, they will preach commitment, hard work, consistency, delayed gratification. And that's all true, and that's important if you want to succeed. But there's also something called the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy is where someone is reluctant to make a decision based on the investment they've already made into that decision, whether that be time, money, energy. And it can trap people into making decisions on the future based off the past. So for example, how many people do you know who are in a relationship and maybe they've been with their partner 4, 5, 6, 7 years, even though they're not fully happy or fulfilled in the relationship, they're just going to stay in the relationship because they've already invested 4 or 5 years. They're already living together. They're already comfortable with their family. And even though they are potentially intrigued on what their life would look like being outside of that relationship, they stick to it just because of the time they've already invested. And because you can't just ignore the time, effort, money, and energy that you've invested into a relationship or a business or any type of decision, it clouds our judgment on what we actually really want in that moment. And obviously it's the same in business. If you've spent 2, 3, 4, 5 years trying to build a business and it's either not as successful as you want, or it's not as fulfilling as you thought it would be, it can be very hard to let go of that business and quit because you've just spent the last 4 or 5 years building it. But if you were to take all emotion out of it, then it would probably be a very easy decision for you to just say, no, I'm going to stop this business and do something that, number 1, makes me more money, or number 2, makes me more fulfilled. Because at the end of the day, sometimes a business just isn't right for you. For example, if you've started an e-commerce business because a few years ago people said this was the best way to make money online, then maybe your personality and your skill set isn't the right fit to be an e-com founder. Or if you have an agency, maybe your personality isn't a right fit to actually speak and deal with clients all the time and build and manage and lead a team. Maybe your personality is best fit for maybe like an affiliate marketing business where it's just a one-person solo business where you're running ads and making new offers and you don't really have much human interaction. Obviously, different people fit different business models. But when we're starting out in business and we're choosing that first business to start or to build, we aren't usually aware of who we are, what our skill sets are, what our preferences. A lot of the time we only figure that stuff out 4, 5, 6 years into the game. But at that point we could have spent 2, 3 years building a business, and therefore even though we know it's probably not right for us because of the sunk cost fallacy, we stick to it. And when you have those thoughts of quitting, you also say to yourself, oh, is this just me being soft? Is this just me not being able to deal with pressure? Is this just me not being able to overcome challenges? Do I just need to get better? And it's this back and forth toxic conversation that you have with yourself, trying to balance what makes you happy and what makes you money versus not wanting to be that person who just quits. So you got to ask yourself, are you sticking with your current business for the wrong reasons? Now, typically as like a general rule, when I have this conversation with people, I generally say you should stick to one particular business and put your full focus on that business for at least 18 months to 2 years. Now, that is obviously just a general rule, but about 2 years at one business will give you enough time to, number 1, figure out whether you like it or not. Number 2, you'll be in the game long enough to actually start making money with it. So at that point, if you've worked hard and put full focus in it for 2 years and you're not enjoying it, or it's not making you money, then maybe it's not the right business for you. But again, the prerequisite for that is that you actually have worked hard and put your full focus on it for 2 years. Now, if you're in that position, and you do decide, you know what, this business isn't for me, I want to quit this business, stop this business, I want to start something else, that's okay, you can make the decision. But you also, when you make that decision, you've got to understand what that means. And it means that you're going to be starting again. You're going to be killing the momentum that you have built over the last 2 years and starting from scratch. And yes, you're going to have more skills. Yes, you'll have more experience. Yes, you'll have more awareness. Yes, you'll probably have a better network, but you're still starting that new business, going to have to start that new 18 months to 2 year cycle, where if you're starting that business, you're going to have to commit for that length of time again to be able to make a decision whether it's right for you or not. Now, if you're in a current business and it's making you money, but you just hate it and you're unfulfilled by it, then just know that switching, obviously in the short term, you are going to earn less money. But if you pick a business that is more suited to your needs, then in the long term, you're going to be happier. And then in the long term, you're probably going to make even more money, because if you enjoy something and you're fulfilled by something, then you're more likely to, number one, stick to it for a longer period of time. But number two, if you enjoy something, it's very likely that you are going to put more enthusiasm and energy into it, and therefore probably going to receive more back. So it's a difficult conversation to have with yourself. But whether that is business or, like I said, relationships or any type of decision, you want to try and just remove the effort and energy that you've previously put into it and look at it more objectively to try and figure out what you want to do. It's the same if you're deciding to quit your job and start a business. Maybe you have been in a career for 5 to 6 years, you've worked yourself up, you've had a few promotions, but deep down you're not really fulfilled by the career, you're not happy with your job and you want to start a business, but you don't want to take that leap of faith because you look back at the last 6 to 7 years and be like, oh, that'll just be a complete waste. And therefore you never go and chase your dreams of building the business because of the time, effort and energy you've already put into your career. Now, in that scenario, or even if you're in the scenario of running a business and you're thinking of quitting that business, at the end of the day, you just got to look at the worst case scenario of quitting. And let's just say you want to start a new business and you go after it and you try it for, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, then at least you could probably just go back to the old business model. And then at least you can say to yourself, well, I tried, at least I actually tried something different. And you're not going to be staying with that regret of, oh, what if I actually tried this instead?